Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Thanks very much for joining me again. A lovely sunny morning here today, so I hope the sun shines on you at some stage or other today. Morning, June. Morning, Nikki, Jill, Rosemary, Jenny, Fiona, the other Fiona, Vivian, Janice, Karen, Nikki. Nikki, good news. I have found your mojo. It is here in this room and it's coming over to you right now. Glad you managed to get your dog walking in, and I'm glad to see you did your 10,000 steps as well, Sandra, because luckily you did some for me as well. So that's brilliant. Thank you for that. And I'm not even out of breath. Good morning, Sheila. So lots of lovely people to join me today. And don't forget, if you can't join me and you're not joining me live, you can always find the sessions that we do on the YouTube channel. And don't forget that it's Maximum Crafts with an S. So that's where you'll find us. So I've got so much to tell you. I've even had to write a list to make sure I remember to tell you everything. So here is the first thing that we're going to do. So this is a lovely new set of dies from the Find It range, and I'm going to be using 2 die sets. I've left these in the packet here at the moment, but my ones are down there. It's a range of a set of dies. There are 6, I think, in the whole set. I haven't got all of them to show you, but I have got 4, and I think you will agree that they are 4 lovely ones. So this one is called the Poinsettia frame. So that's the one that we're going to use today. We're also going to use the Poinsettia corner. That's another one. Then there's the beautiful holly Christmas wreath. Now that is actually 3 dies. So you've got this one here, which would cut through. So it would cut all of the little holly and berries out of the paper. So if you had a white piece of paper and then a green piece of paper behind it, that would show the colours, if you see what I mean. It doesn't cut out all the little individual, well, it does cut all the individual holly leaves. So you'd have some beautiful cut pieces there to put in a shaker card. Would look really pretty. Anyway, you've got an outer edge and an inner edge on that one. And then you've also got this beautiful Christmas lantern. And what I particularly liked about this Christmas lantern is the size of it, because that's a good sort of 12. Does it say what size it is? Shall I measure it with my ruler? Oh, how about that for a good guess? 12 centimetres high, which I think is quite nice to make the whole thing as a focal point. And I may well do that for some cards later on. And then you've got a couple of lovely candles that can go in the centre. Yeah, very, very pretty. And then there's some mistletoe, and there's also a poinsettia border as well. But I thought I'd show you, first of all, this one, which using these 2 dies. So I've chosen some colours of card that I'm going to work with. Now, first of all, I've chosen some metallic linen card. So this is a gold colour, but instead of mirror card, 2 reasons why I've chosen it. Predominantly, it's because I wanted more of a matte finish. And let's face it, secondly, is if I use the mirror card, you can keep on seeing the top of the roof and me and the camera. I thought you don't want to really see that. So subsequently, I've used that. But it's the linen finish. I'm not sure if you can see that that's a linen finish. I think you probably can. So it's very, very pretty. But it's not too garish and in your face. I've also chosen olive, Christmas paper. Then that's moss green, and this one is Christmas red. So that goes together quite nicely there. So here are the dies that I'm going to be using. So this section here is the poinsettia frame, and it comes with 3 different sizes of poinsettias as well. And this is the poinsettia corner, which comes as a 1 piece with also a single poinsettia on its own. So I'm going to cut out this one first, which is the frame itself, so that you can see how that goes. And I've trimmed my piece of card down, but this has an outer edge. So it will cut out with a wiggly outer edge. Now, if you want, you can just cut this out as it is, and that's no problem, it will cut out. But if you want to have a particularly nice finish to it, I recommend that you tape it down very well so that you can use your die and emboss it. So I'm going to cut this one first, and I'm also going to be using my hand machine as opposed to my Gemini this time. So I've just put it on the base plate, the clear plate, and my clear plate on top, just to run that through. So I'm going to take carefully my top plate off, and I'm also going to take this away from here. And then I'm going to turn it upside down, preferably without changing it too much and moving it, because that's the crucial bit. And now I'm going to emboss the die. So I'm not sure if you can see from there. Let me just show you. Let me just show you. If I bring that up closely, you can see that these areas here, where there's going to be a flower, are not very well defined. They would be fine because we're going to cover them in actual fact, but they're not as well defined as I'd like them to be. So I'm going to emboss. So now this is the Spellbinder's Platinum machine. Every machine has a different setup as to how you do your embossing. Luckily, it tells you how to do it on the bottom of this one, so that's quite handy. And so what you need is the base. In this case, you need the base, your die, which has already been cut out and still in place. You need your cut out die cut on top, and then you need a rubber mat. Now, I have used the rubber mat, not the same one, I would like to say, but you can get a rubber mat which you use with your hot glue gun and that sort of thing, you know, that it can drip onto there, a silicone mat. So I've chopped that a little bit off actually, because I like to use my smaller machine, and pop that on top. And then for this one, they have an embossing plate, which you probably can see, embossing plate. So I'm just going to run that through the machine. So it is funny because the rubber is against the cutting. If you imagine it, I can turn that over now, the cutting edge of it is pressing down into that rubber, and you might be forgiven for thinking, oh God, is that right? But it is right. And now if you look, you can see that the pattern has come out quite nicely on there, and that's the back of it, don't forget. So that is that bit. So I'm just going to turn that over so you can see how pretty this is. Taking the tape off, and a bit in the centre comes away. And let's just poke those last little bits through. So you can hopefully see that it's got such a lovely embossed part to it. As I say, because of what I'm going to do today, I'm going to be covering a lot of the embossed parts, but it also picks out the little berries and everything. It's quite a detailed die, so that's nice that you don't have to do very much. They all find it always bring out a die that is really not a lot to do with it. You know, you haven't got a lot of mixing and matching to do, which I think is lovely. So I'm just going to poke all those bits out, and you can see that this is quite a delicate die because you've got all these little delicate pieces of the mistletoe that's at the background there, all cut out for you. So that's rather nice. So I have already cut out card on which to put it. So I've got a 6x6 scalloped edge card just to give it a bit of a fancy look, and then I've taken another piece of the moss green card, and that's going to go on my base, and then my card here, whoops, is going to go on top of that. So I'm just going to stick that down, and that's just going to go right onto my base like that. Okay, and then my embossed piece is going to go on there like that. So I'm going to put that, I'm going to stick that down now, but I've got lots to do to it yet to bring it into something. I mean, you could, let me show you in a second. You could say, that's what I find is the beauty of these Find It dies. You could say, right, that's it. I don't need to do any more than that. That suits me. Nice card. Just take those extra bits. I think I'm going to put it, hold on, which way around should I put it? Like that. Yeah. You could say, well, that's it. I've done it. It's beautiful. And you could just get yourself a sentiment, which I've already cut out and I will be using. And you could say, right, that card's done. Yeah. But let's take it one step further. So if you want a really flat card, that card is done and dusted. But let's take it a bit of a step further. So I'm going to just pop that out of sight. And I'm going to now take, first of all, my corner die. So I'm going to cut out my corner die, and I'm going to cut it out twice. So I'm going to chop it about a bit. So I'm first of all taking my moss green. I had to think what I was going to call it. Moss green. I'm just going to run that through the machine. Now I'm not going to emboss this one because I'm going to layer it up, but you can possibly see that if you didn't emboss it, you don't get such a good impression there. Okay, so cut it out once in my moss green, and then I'm going to cut it out again in the olive green. And again, I'm not going to emboss it, but one of the things I think you can see, doesn't it cut beautifully? You know, just all those intricate little bits, it just cuts it all out. So it's lovely. And then I've got my red. Okay. So with my red piece, I'm going to take the single Poinsettia that comes with it, and I'm going to cut that out. And whilst I'm there, I'm going to take the Poinsettias from my other, the other die, the Poinsettia frame, and I'm just going to pop them all into place and going to cut them all out at the same time. Okay, so they're all cut out at the same time. Now I'm going to take off my tape, but I'm not, if I can help it, going to move the dies out. They're quite easy just to pop back in. Oh, if I do manage to move them, but they're okay if I don't. So I've still got them in place, and I'll just pop them to one side a second as well. So, then before I take these dies out, I'm going to come in with my Craft Artist Petal pigment inks, and this set is the autumn set. And you might think that I would be going to be using the red one, but I'm not. I'm going to use the very dark brown one. If I use the red, you'll see the difference in a minute, but I'll use the brown and then you can see the difference. So what I'm going to do is with one of my small blending brushes, going to pick up the ink from my petal, and I'm going to hold that down because I don't want to move the die, and over the center of that flower I'm going to rub plenty of ink, And then I'm going to do the same again over each one of the flowers. When it comes to this tiny little one here, I have to move my finger around, otherwise I shall miss some of it. So it's only a hint of a colour. It's not colouring it completely, but it does make all the difference. I'm just going to put a fair amount on there. And lastly, this one. Morning, Jill. Hi, Heather. Wondered where you were. Morning, Kathy and Di. Nice to see you all. Right. So, pop that into place now. Now I can take my dies off, and my shapes out for that matter. And I think that you can then see that they have now picked up this smaller poinsettia as such inside, but without doing anything as such. And let me just show you that if I was to just clean off this, because I might have a lot of brown on there, just clean off that. And if I just put that on there, I know I haven't cut it out, so you're going to have to use your imagination. I'm just going to take the red, and I'm just going to go over with the red. Bear in mind, I may well have a little bit left of my brown on there, but hopefully not. So I've done the same thing with just the red colour as opposed to the dark brown. And you can see the difference, that just gives you, it does give you a slightly darker colour, but I think that one sits out a little bit more, but you can do whichever you prefer, but I prefer the brown myself. Okay, so let us now take this in and do a little bit with this, a little bit more with this one. Pop this to one side as well. Okay, so these are meant to match onto here. I can't believe that I got that right first time. Goodness me. And I will take before I put it down, I'm going to take the outer, just the red leaves, petals, or whatever you call them, and just pick them up a little bit. Pop a little bit of glue on the back. Now I won't get that right in the same place again, will I? It is meant to fit exactly over there. This one, second size down, is for this one here. And again, I'll just pick up the outer petals. Does it fit in that way? Yep. So a little bit of glue. I mean, in all honesty, it doesn't really matter if they're not exactly on there, but you know. And let me just check that is that one. So this, I believe, is this one up here. Yeah. So again, now this one hasn't got an outer, but I'm still just going to pick up the very edges of the petal. And all I'm doing is just pinching them really and just making them come up a little bit so that they are, just there. Now, I'm just going to take my corner poinsettia. So the first layer was the moss green. That's the darker green one. I'm just going to poke out those little bits that we don't want. Second layer is the olive green, but I don't want all the second layer. I only want the poinsettia that's in the centre. So all I'm going to do is just trim it down so I can see where the poinsettia is, and I'm just going to give it a bit of a trim, just taking poinsettia out of this corner because I want it to be sort of like a leaf, but sort of like a background really. Okay, so we've got all those little bits there. If I was particularly keen, I would be saving those, but because there is a mistletoe die set, I'm not going to save those. So I'm just going to do the same as I did there, and I'm just going to pick up those corners, and I'm going to stick that onto there like that. And then I'm going to take my little red one, and I'm again going to pick up my corners, just a little bit of glue. See if I can find which way it goes. I don't know that it matters, to be honest. And that's my little corner. And then I'm going to put my corner, I pop a little bit of glue onto the back of there, over in this corner. Okay. And then, and only then, am I going to pop my little sentiment into the centre there. I found a bit of sticky specks that I had. Not sure how sticky it is, but I'm going to go for it. I'm hoping that this will be back in stock very soon. So all of the items that I've used today are all available over on the website, maximumcrafts.com, and you will find as well lots of other items on there, which I'm going to show you some in just a second. So that's just put sticky, tiny little micro sticky specks of glue onto the back, and it just makes that easy, she says. Oh, just got to get it into place. There you go. Just to stick that down. Okay, so now I could go even madder. Let me just reach over. And where I've got the poinsettias, so you can see that this card can sort of go where you want, if you see what I mean. If you are into fiddling and a lot, I can't find my tweezers, hence why I'm fiddling. If you wanted to go with a lot more bling, you could do, of course, in the mirror card, and that would look nice. But you could also add your bling to your centre of your poinsettias. You have got already little dots on there, on the poinsettias, so you don't need to by any means. But I think sometimes they look quite nice. So you can, we started off with a very plain, well, not very plain, a plainish frame, which would have been fine with just the sentiment in the centre. It really would. And then we've just gone to town by just adding a little bit more and blinging it up with a bit of good old gems, all sorts, yeah? So how you want to do yours is down to you. Wait a minute, that one needs an extra one as well. We can't have it odd. Okay, so there you go. You've now got even more to the card. So we started off, as I said, hold on a second. Oh, we started off with just a plain cut-out frame. This one I did in the mirror card here. So just a plain cut-out frame, which does look lovely, but I think it looks even more special if you, I loved this beautiful corner. I thought that was so pretty, and it just finished off that centre. So you could do anything in the centre. I'm sure you've got some sentiments, Christmas sentiments. You could do a stamp. You could do this all in different colours. You could really go to town with it. There are some decoupage sheets, new decoupage sheets available. Now, if you're into animals, let me just put those away. If you are into animals, I think you might quite like these. I will show them to you so that you can see. So you have got a variety now. None with guinea pigs, which I think is just a bit much in all honesty. But you've got this one, which has got the little cat. Oh, look at that little doggy. And also a rabbit. You have got this one with the dogs, with a little lab, with a little chap there. Up here, the cat, and the one with the tree. You've got some more rabbits, little ones there. Gorgeous little Yorkie down the bottom, and a little cat there. And then this one, which is also all dogs, this one, which is a little Pomeranian, I think you call that one, and a little, I don't know, but equally as gorgeous. And I do know that that's a lovely little Yorkie. But if you imagine, if you do know people that are pet and dog or orientated, that little round circle there, for example, fits beautifully into there. So that would make a lovely card as well. So again, you could use, perhaps instead of using all of your greenery, you do get your 3 poinsettias, but instead of using your poinsettia corner, you may think, I'll just have that gorgeous gold frame with some poinsettias, and I'll put that lovely little dog in the centre, or the cats, or the rabbits, all sorts. So as I said, all of that is available over on the website. Now, that's the Sunday special. Let's tell you some other bits and pieces. So, I had a message or a post on the website regarding Sam's circles, and the message was from Kaz, who is a lady that comes to my classes. So I hope she's online. I haven't been able to see whether you are or not, but I'm sure you will be later if you're not. Now, we did the Sam circles last week, but Kaz was querying about the little village scene and how to do the village scene. Oh, there you are. Thank you. So this is how, there are 2 ways of doing the village scene. So we either have, so let's get the dies out so we know what we're talking about. So that's the main Sam circles. That's the village scene. You'll also need, for the second one, you'll need the outer just stitched circle one. And I've also sneaked in the little Santa and his reindeer, just to give you an example. So you can either do it this way. So if you wanted to just have your basic card, you would take your Sam circles outer die, and remember that this one has no cutting edge. So you cut that to however big you want it to be. And as well as that, you place your die just inside that circle there. All right, so you'd put those 2 dies through the machine at the same time, and that will come out with this. Okay, so I've cut it out in black. I've just popped that into there, and what that will do is just basically cut out this bit here. So where I've got it in brown at the top here, that piece will be solid and will stay there. That's that piece. But this piece will be removed, and only that piece. And that will give you the scene there. Okay. And then I've taken Father Christmas and I've cut him out and I've put him there flying over the rooftops. So that is a flat version of it. If you wanted to do, if you recall, we did this card. And if you want, and it was sort of set in as an aperture. So if you wanted to do it like that, that version of it, then you would cut out like we did here, which was cut out with the Sam's circles and then cut out with this, the aperture, so that you have got a hole in the center. And then, take that out of the way. So you'd use this, and as an example, I have then cut out this. So I've used that circle, cut out that from there. So that just gives me a plain white circle. All right. Then I've placed my, I've then got a piece of black card, and I've placed my die at the very top so that it is going over that very top edge. So it fits, because it sits absolutely on top of it. And then, imagine that that was a piece of black card. I've then chopped that off. All right, so that was a black circle, just like that one, cut from there. And I've just taken that off. And it did need a little tiny trim, tiny little bit needed to be cut there and there. All right, and then you would stick that directly onto your white piece of card. And like I did with the other one, where I've put lots of snow on the back, that's what I would actually do personally, but now I'm getting really carried away here. So I would glitter the white piece and then stick that on top. If you can see with this one, I'm not sure if the camera can pick that up, but I've glittered all the background of those trees and everything. And I would do the same as I did with that one. And then that would then fit into the aperture then. I won't put it in because it's going to get stuck and I won't get it out. Or perhaps I can. We are. So I've transformed that picture instead of the deer, but I would have wanted to have put snow on there. And then obviously you could get your Father Christmas going along there as well. I haven't cut another one out. So it's either flat like that, where you cut out your die set directly as well at the same time as doing your Sam stars, or separately using the stitch circle background and then a black piece on top to give you your silhouette, really, isn't it, of the tops. Okay, so I hope that that's okay. I could use the embossing folder. I could use so much, really, couldn't I? So much. Okay, so that's that. Now, this evening then at 6 o'clock, now I'm going to start putting all these samples out here so you can see of what we've been doing today. So today at 6 o'clock on Hochanda, John Lockwood launches the final collection of the Christmas 2020. And I wouldn't say he's left the best to last, but by golly, it's good. It's almost the best that you can get. It just gets better and better every time, doesn't it? So we have got the snow flowers. We've got the stamps have a lovely selection that go with the stamps there. We have got, what else have we got? Jane's trees, which are fabulous, which comes with a lovely frame and some more sentiments. We've got Christmas Time, which is another lovely card all in one. And we've got the pine, don't know what they're called. Pine embellishments. I can't remember what they're called. Sorry, I'm sounding a bit daft there, but I can't remember what they're called. We've then got stamens, and there is glitter, which from my point of view is on pre-order, but you can order it all. So all lovely things to look forward to at 6 o'clock tonight. He will also be on at 8 o'clock tonight, and then again tomorrow morning, bank holiday, at 8, 12 and 4. And then tomorrow, bank holiday Monday, last bank holiday before Christmas, oh my goodness, at 11 o'clock, I will be back with you again to show you a couple of samples using those dies and some tips and things that I found along the way whilst I was doing some samples. So look out, maybe some of mine might be on the TV tonight or tomorrow by yours truly, but there are some beautiful, stunning examples by all of the lovely DT team. So do look out for them. I'm sure that you will see some of them and recognise some of the names, hopefully. Is it Pine Bough, Terry? I've no idea. I like it though. Yeah, but I didn't know that it was called that. In fact, actually, I can't remember which card I used it on, but just recently I have used it and no one, well, no, 3 people messaged me privately and said, oh, where did you get that? But so, yeah, so there is that as well. So 11 o'clock tomorrow, you have got me again for another, not Sunday special. Oh, what can I call that? A Monday Marvel. That's what we call that one. Yeah, it's going to be a Monday Marvel. I have to call it that sort of thing, you see. Yeah, Monday Marvel tomorrow, so you should look forward to that. And then the exciting news, I will tell you on here, because I'm sure you won't tell anyone until I announce it very shortly. But I am delighted to say that John is back on the road doing workshops. And the first one that he's going to do, he's coming down south to me and my group, and he's doing a workshop with us. I'm absolutely delighted to say that the venue where we have it is red hot safe. I could eat my dinner off of any part, including the toilets, that I'd like to do. It is very, very safe, and we are thoroughly looking forward to him coming. And although the first date is completely full already, I have got spaces on Sunday, the 27th of September, which I will be putting on the website. And I'm afraid to say it will be on a first come, first served basis. And he will be using some of the beautiful stuff that is available tonight. Okay, so all the more information will be on the website later on today. I do hope you've enjoyed the cards that I've shown you. We've sort of skipped a little bit, but this is the main card today, the beautiful Poinsettia frame from the Jeannies Art Christmas Flowers range. It's a bit of a mouthful, but it's the Poinsettia frame and the Poinsettia corner. And I will be back online at 6 o'clock with all the bits and pieces, and I'll see you tomorrow for Marvellous Monday. Oh my goodness me. Thank you so much for joining me, everybody. Take care, everyone, and I will see you then. Take care. Bye.